to stick to this as much as we can. The two-tiered economy, where people, yes, the S&P 500 record high just yesterday, gold record high. So if you have some of those assets, you're doing well. But beneath the surface and behind the scenes, a lot of stuff happening for people who are making less than $100,000. Just going to put this up here on the screen. Lower income Americans are missing car payments. So more Americans are struggling to make monthly car loan payments, a sign that the lower income consumers are under.
I'm going to tell you straight up, guys, this is me right now. I could barely make my car payment every month, and I make a pretty good living. You know, it has gotten crazy out there. Make sure to subscribe to Breaking Points. Their link is in the description. If you're new here, tap that subscribe button, and let's go. Comment ready if you're ready.
Growing financial pressure. The share of subprime auto loans that are 60 days or more past has nearly a high of 6.5% and has lingered near that level. Repos have swelled. More drivers are trading in vehicles that are worth less than they owe, meaning that they're upside down. And lenders such as CarMax and Ally Financial have warned investors about auto loan performance. Quote, despite stubborn inflation and punishing tariffs, the U.S. economy on its surface appeared to hold up relatively well. The stock market has climbed. Company executives, for the most part, remain upbeat. And consumers overall are still spending, but it's largely those top 10% consumers, which are the weakness is that the auto market is one of the clearest indications that lower and middle-class income families could be starting to buckle because many Americans need cars to get around. Auto loan delinquency is a telling gauge of financial hardship. That's actually a good proxy, right? It's like one of the last things that you're going to go bust on.
This is the truth, though, okay? How it's not just affecting individuals, it's affecting families, whole families.
Repossessions. I'm not sure I'm not the only one, but videos of repo men literally go viral all the time. And it does feel, maybe it's algorithmic, I'm not sure, my own personal bias, but I do certainly see them go everywhere. And I think you combine that with some of the other studies, particularly with the segment we're going to do later on with David Dayen. The real risk to our economy right now, Ryan, is that, you know, if you're already making less than 100,000, like you're basically not bust, but you're really struggling. And if 50% of all consumer spending is just from the top 10%, a slight pullback in that is just enough to send us into a recession.
Yeah, and what you said is exactly right.
Right, exactly. That's what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not if it is into a recession, it basically is.
If you lose your car in
you
this,
can't do anything.
Like, you know, small percentage of people live walkable enough that they can get to work, etc. That's not the situation, right? Like a massive portion of Americans. And so when you start struggling, your rent is the thing you stop paying first, maybe because it's much harder to get evicted. And then your credit card, your student loans, definitely you're not paying those. What are they going to do? Take your degree back? Eventually you keep paying the things that you need, and you need and then when you stop paying for that, then now you're dodging the repo man.
Right.
And if you lose your car, then you're bumming rides to work.
Repo Man. He was a great wrestler in the WWF back in the 80s and 90s. Anybody remember Repo Man?
You might lose your job.
It's a very downward spiral.
That's why the bean counters look at this number, because through all of that pain and suffering is an economic indicator, which is that if people are falling behind on their car payments, that means everything else is going really badly.
That's exactly right. There's another metric I track very closely. Let's go and put here up on the screen. When I saw this, I said, sell everything, because this is the biggest indicator of impending economic disaster. The number of people who registered to take the LSAT in September 2024 was 18,811. The number of people who registered to take it in September 2025 is 32,170.
Wow.
So let's explain, shall we? What
Basically
it is
double.
is that anybody who is my age is just old enough to remember this. Is back in the Great Recession. I mean, you lived through this, Ryan. You were entering the job market at that time. If you entered the job market between 2009 and 2012, you were dead, right? You're basically entering one of the worst wage job markets of all time. So what a lot of people did, especially those who graduated, let's say.
Did anybody remember the 2008-9 recession with the banks and the housing market? Let me know.
in 09, is they said, okay, screw it. I'm just going to have to go to law school. I'm going to have to business school. Yes, I'm going to have to leverage myself with some debt, but hopefully things will have cleaned up. I'll have gained a credential in the meantime. It's kind of a stopgap measure for a lot of people. It's nice if you can afford it, but it's definitely bad if you're taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans.
Just to add to that, and then you go on. Let's say you graduated in 05. You've been working for 2-3 years.
Right,
you just got laid off, and you're staring at now years of unemployment. Like there was this whole thing back then, what they called the 99ers, people who would exhaust 99 weeks of unemployment. And so you're like, well, I could sit around and just suffer, because like there's not, it's an extraordinary amount of suffering.
Yes.
To be looking for work. It's an assault on your dignity as well as your finances.
For sure.
And so you're like, well, if I'm going to be sitting around for 3 years anyway, might as well at least try to come out with a credential that can make me more employable down the line.
Yeah, and actually what we saw is that the number of people who took the LSAT actually dropped after the economy started to get better. So it is one of those like very good indications about how people are doing. And eventually, as the economy got better, so let's say in 2012, it fell even more precipitously. But the fact that it has such a large spike is genuinely one of those like 2009, it's the exact same thing. I'm looking right here at the statistics, substantial jump of some 20 to 40%.
That's kind of scary that it's like, oh my God, it's almost like exactly the same. Like it's not good, folks. That's not good.
In law school applications just in the 2009 to 2010 school year. So this is the same number if you look at what that is, almost double actually. So it's a very similar metric. It just goes to show you at the lower level of the job market, there is a crushing feeling of this isn't going to get better, and so I might as well just take out some debt and deal with it. I will also add, though, this may be one of the worst times to do it, because not only do we have AI, which is on the horizon, but also, you know, for people who are out there, please pay very attention to the law. So there's something called a grad plus loan. Are you aware of what that is?
Yeah.
Right. So previously,
cap now.
Exactly. So previously, this grad plus loan was one of the most used student loan federal programs for medical students and for law students. Now, the United States Congress in their recent legislation has capped that at $50,000. And so there are some schools, I recently saw statistics that for the very first year ever, I think it's Santa Clara, I need to check
Pulling it back.
Which law school, they had their tuition at $70,000. But then the law changed and they changed it to $50,000. I was like, oh, interesting. Interesting.
Because the 70 was kind of a fake sticker
it's all
price.
fake.
Yeah.
All right, so there are two options that are right.
Like, that's the thing. Colleges, universities, they always like overcharge by so much. It's like ridiculous just to make sure everybody gets paid.
Now, is that one, is that, yes, maybe law school prices will drop. I am deeply hopeful for that. Personally, I think we should make the grad plus zone $0, and then we'll really see what the market rate for law school is. My guess is a couple $1,000s. But the real, like, change here could be the Yales, the Harvards, let's say any in a T15, top 25 law school, any of those, they're not going to change. Now, people are going to get leverage no matter what, whether it's grad plus or not. That's where I get scared, you know, for people, is that they'll not only even have access to the grad plus loan, they have to get a private loan. Private loan's going to have a, you know, usurious interest rate right now, and you could really get stuck in a deep hole, and you're basically banking on an entire career that works out when you have a technology environment right now where you just don't know. I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer. I know a lot. From what I know, AI has not come yet. There's still a lot of guild checks in the system, but I can't be the only person who's...
No, he's very much correct about AI, because AI is growing at such a rapid rate and is already, you know, making it harder for people to keep their jobs, because AI is... Alexa, stop. Because basically they're just taking over everything. Think about it. And if you're still watching, let's see if we can hit our 1 like goal. Just 1 like and 1 subscriber. That's it. Thank you.
Says, hey, you know, especially the lawyers who I grew up with, their first 2-3 years in the industry, it was bullshit. It was like, you know,
document review.
It was doc review. It was, you know, working. They would, when the
Research.
partners went to bed, that's when you started to work, and you have to do your research and make sure that the footnotes are. I mean, it's like investment banking. It's just pure scut work, and that's one of those where that I'm fairly certain ChatGPT could do, or at the very least, you could use it to check your work. And and then come
Right.
but the workload is going to be much, much less.
Right.
So that's where I really start to worry.
Look, you'll never be able to rely on AI for like checking work for it to be 100%, 100% of the time. You know, that's where a human going over something is also important. Of course, there's human error on top of it, but you get what I'm saying.
Especially with the doc review.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like just
that's
being
the
able to
definition of automated, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully, I mean, I don't put a value judgment on it. There are so many like fake cases that seem to have been seeded into the world. I don't know if like a Thomson Reuters or like some other of these companies that you have to pay to get access to their cases are like genuinely like seeding the world with like fake cases, the way that like hippies would put like a spike in a tree.
Interesting. Yeah.
Something's going on that is putting in all of these made up, completely hallucinated cases that then AIs are then writing into their memos that they're writing, and judges are coming down hard on them, saying like, "Oh, this is clearly AI. You're sanctioned. You're fined." So at least you will need humans to like read the AI briefs and then actually go and check the cases to see if it's not hallucinating.
Well, you should
See what I mean? That's basically like what I was just saying. You know, you'll still need like a person to, you know, proofread the AI's work, essentially, because they do make mistakes.
be checking it anyways. I can't tell you the number of times that I'll use ChatGPT for research, and I'm like, wait, that's wrong. I mean, like, I know that that's wrong, right? It's one of
See?
those where,
I think it might
and then
be-
I'll say,
yeah.
hey, that's wrong, and they're like, oh, you're right, it is wrong.
If you work at like
Yeah.
Thomson Reuters or one of these other places, reach out to me because
Oh yeah, I actually would. That would be a great story.
and if I were them, I would do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, why
Just
not?
be like
Protect your business.
And Jenny versus Grimm is this
Yes.
powerful Supreme Court case,
Jenny versus-
and you can put it somewhere where the
Yeah.
AIs will crawl it, but nobody else can find it.
Yeah. My dream is to get my name attached to a landmark case on Maryland. Enjetti versus the United States. Enjetti versus the state of Colorado. So my name can live forever. All right, let's go ahead and put this one up here
My
on the
Enjetti rights.
screen.
I need my Enjetti rights.
Yeah, the Miranda rights, Enjetti right. The Enjetti right to. There was actually a huge case here in Washington D.C. where a woman sued her neighbor for smoking weed and won. She is my personal hero right now.
Those are her.
So the home
She defended
sellers
her Enjetti
now
rights.
outnumber buyers by more than 500,000. That is the largest gap ever recorded. So
That is a scary number. The fact that so many people are trying to sell their homes instead of buying homes, that's a big problem.
yeah, you know, things are scary. And the reason why this scares me is the price still has not adjusted, right?
Mhm.
So even though the sellers are outnumbering the buyers,
Right.
the law of elasticity would tell you that the price should come down. The price is not going down, all right? It's actually staying flat. And in some cases, in the big metro areas, they're going up, which I just don't understand. I don't know how it's possible, but there's something where I have said now, this entire time, it feels like it has to crack, but it doesn't. And I think that's what scares me the most is we've lived through these crazy times now since June of 2020. It's been 5 years, more than 5 years of an insane housing market. Doesn't sound that long, let's say if you're 60. If you're my age and you're 33, that's a long time. I wasn't even married with a child 5 years ago, right? Your life can change
Right.
rapidly in 5 years. Let's say you're 28 years old. You're right around that time where you're like, yeah, you know, I'm thinking about it. Oh, 7% interest rate, terrible housing market. I can't afford it. I don't have the savings.
That's what it comes down to now. Everybody is just saying, well, I can't afford that. You know, it's like there's no middle ground right now. It's just, there's just the two polar opposites. Everything's out of balance.
Let's say I'm either getting laid off or I'm not getting the raise that I thought I was going to get. Inflation is eating away at my bottom line. Those are the people I think about the most right now.
And I think what you're looking at there is a standoff, and this is the reason that you're not seeing the prices crash yet. You have most of those sellers there have some type of 3% interest rate
Bingo.
that they're
Right.
sitting on, and so their monthly payment
Very low.
is something that they can afford as long as they're staying employed, and so they can wait out the buyers. Buyers are looking at a 7-8% interest rate, which sends your monthly mortgage costs, absolutely through the roof, which changes the amount of house that you can then buy. So if
Right.
you're a seller and you're selling on your 3% mortgage, now when you go to buy a new home, you're going to have to take out this 8% loan.
Right.
So there's that huge gap, and so people are staring at that and saying, you know what, I need a lot more money to be able to get an equal house, and the person's like, well, why would I give you that much money when...
No, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
So it's two people just staring at each other, and I think the only way this breaks, I guess eventually the force of like economic decline could do it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what he's saying. It's true, because as the economy changes, the banks, the interest loans, the minimum wage, all of that fluctuates, and unfortunately it's going to go in the direction we don't want it to. That's a big problem.
Because enough people just can't make their payments anymore. But really, interest rates have to move.
Yes,
right.
But they're not.
You can't
That's
have this just crazy world of where you have 3 and 8, like the buyers at 8 and then the sellers at 3. Like trying to find a place where they can meet in the middle is proving to be impossible. Like that's why you're seeing this record.
That's such a good point. Yeah, and a lot of people are stuck in houses that they don't even want to be in. I know a lot of them. They have like 3 children, and they're like, I'm not moving. I can't afford it. I literally cannot afford to move.
Right.
Let's go and put the next one up on the screen. This is, we wanted to bring it back to the shutdown. There is, in fact, a shutdown happening, by the way, if anybody's forgotten. It's actually the 4th week of the shutdown. Not that anybody
the shutdown
cares,
is still going on.
And so these...
If you're still watching, comment the shutdown. If you're still watching.
Obamacare prices were the things that the Democrats really were zeroing in on, and there's been new public reporting now of these higher prices that are now actually revealed in over a dozen states. It says consumers are now facing greater costs for their 2026 ACA health coverage as Congress continues to debate whether to extend subsidies that help people afford their premiums. So health insurance prices for next year under the Affordable Care Act now available. The annual enrollment period for Obamacare starts on November 1st. The costs are becoming publicly available piecemeal through state marketplaces. People shopping for coverage can now preview the costs they face from potentially expiring subsidies, sharply rising premiums in many markets, including California, New York, Nevada, Maryland, and Idaho. Man, California, New York, that's a huge portion of the entire U.S. population. Based on newly published information.
Did you guys know about all of this? I'm just curious if you guys were aware about the higher Obamacare prices, okay? Because let's put it this way. It wasn't even that affordable to begin with, so I could only imagine now. I was on it at one point.
A family of 4 making $130,000 in Maine would face an increase of $16,000 in annual premiums just next year because they would no longer qualify for generous subsidies. And that is from the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities. That's devastating, $16,000. That's after-tax income.
That's one of those where you read and you're like, that can't be right.
Right.
That has to be wrong.
That's huge.
An increase of $16,000, and like you said, after-tax income. So... family of 4 making 135.
Well, I guess it's technically tax deductible. Whatever. I'm not an accountant. But yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you can write that off. That's true. But your income is not. Mm-hmm. Your actual income is going to be more like 100, even though you can write a lot of that off. But that's brutal. And so what?
Do you guys in your jobs have a lot of write-offs? Because I just feel like write-offs really only benefit, well, not only benefit, but they mainly benefit people that are, 1099 contractors, people with LLCs, their own companies, their own S-Corp. It feels like it really benefits them the most than a W-2 worker.
People. So what's interesting here, let me read something from a related report, which says, so the expiration of enhanced tax credits will lead to out-of-pocket premiums for ACA marketplace enrollees increasing by an average of more than 75%. This is the doubling that you keep hearing about. So they're guessing there won't be a complete and total doubling, with insurers expecting healthier enrollees to drop coverage. That in turn increases underlying premiums. So just to make sure everyone's clear on what's going on here, we're going to double the price almost of these exchanges. A lot of people are going to look at that $16,000 price tag that they're facing for next year, and they're going to say, I can't afford that. It's not even a choice of whether or not I want to buy this. I don't have the money for it, so I'm just dropping health insurance. Insurers have already gamed that out. They know that they're estimating $2 million for next year and then increasing as it goes on. Okay, so it's the healthiest people who are the most likely to say, you know what, I'm not, family's going to have to go no insurance this year. Mm-hmm. And so if you lose the healthy people from the pool.
Now imagine that. People not having health insurance because they just can't afford things. How insane is that?
Well, you then have to charge everybody else more. So not only are you losing the subsidy, which is driving the price up 75%, they're estimating, then they're already forecasting to regulators that they're going to raise the underlying price by 20%.
Yeah.
That is a year-over-year increase that is utterly unsustainable and insane.
Right.
20% in 1 year?
It's horrible. But, I keep coming back to what Crystal said with Corbin Trent,
This is a devastating point.
This is the devastating point. The whole fight is we can't afford to go back to normal Obamacare. Well, if this is normal Obamacare, this sucks.
I said it at the time.
It's like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
This is horrible. The only reason people signed up were because of pandemic-era subsidies for health insurance. And now that it's reverting back to people are like, whoa. I'm like, I didn't know that this is what the normal program was. And that's actually kind of a Republican talking point, which is not incorrect. It's like, if this was the normal marketplace, then what the hell are we doing here? I got some of these older figures. I got in Kentucky, a 60.
It's kind of insane to see how, when the wool is over the eyes, what people will do and say until everything is revealed, like he's saying.
50-year-old couple making $85,000 will face an increase of $23,700.
Right, they make 80-some thousand.
$23,700.
$23,700. I'm rolling the dice till I get Medicare.
Dude,
Personally, right? If you're
that's
helping,
wild.
I'm like, let's roll the dice.
Right.
Don't take any buses. Don't go in a crosswalk.
And that's what they expect people will do.
Yeah.
So costs are going to go through the roof. The best thing that people said about the ACA at the time was, well, this is a first step, and they'll fill it in with subsidies. And then they did, and now they let them go. Now you have to fight to get them back. Yes, it's utterly absurd. It's outrageous, and it shows why you need universal coverage, because without universal coverage, the healthiest people aren't in it, and then everybody else pays more. The politics play an interesting role here.
Yeah, this is really what I want your opinion on, because it does look like the Senate Democrats are going to cave.
Right, because but if you're just listening to this is Andrew Desdorio, Hill reporter, saying, are Senate Dems eyeing November 1st as a shutdown off-ramp? Dems think they can argue it's no longer feasible to address the expiring ACA subsidies legislatively and make GOP own the resulting premium hikes. No decision yet. This idea is picking up steam. So, in other words, saying, okay, well, the exchanges open up for business on November 1st, and this is what we're fighting for. So if we get past November 1st, we can then save face and say, okay, look, we tried. We tried to save Republicans from themselves. We tried to stop Republicans from doubling your health insurance costs. They refused. Now they're doubled. It's done. Let's open the government up. And then you've had, was it Thune yesterday saying...
It's crazy, though, how the government is still shut down, and this is happening because they can't come to some sort of an agreement. It's just insane, dude.
I will negotiate, and what Republicans have been saying is we will negotiate around these subsidies,
right?
But we won't do it with a gun to our head, which is hilarious because it's like the exact reverse of what the party said during the last shutdown.
Right.
There is no principle in process ever. Like, don't. If anybody claims that they believe in a process, they're lying. They don't. They just believe in outcomes. So
they don't believe in process. They believe in outcomes. That's very, very well said. Very strong argument there.
In the previous case, it was Democrats who said, why can't you negotiate with the government open? Because Biden was president.
Yes.
Now it's Republicans saying, why can't you negotiate with the government open? Because Trump president.
Because Trump is president.
Right. And that's all that matters. So Democrats could say, all right, look, we tried. And also, from a cynical perspective, Schumer, I'm not Schumer's personally, but Democrats in general, they're personally, you know what? If Trump wants to hurt 20 million people and let the whole country know that he's doing it to them,
then let him do it.
Then let him do it, and we'll reap the political.
Yeah, but then why'd you shut the government down for a month?
Because nobody would have known otherwise. Like, they would have gotten their increase and been like, oh, this is terrible. But, like, life sucks.
Yeah.
Now.
Imagine it's been shut down for a month. Last time it wasn't like that.
Oh, they can say, look, we told you Trump was doing this. We fought for you. Trump fights against you. That check you're writing remember Donald Trump's name while you're writing it. So that, I mean, that's their theory.
I could see it. It's just a little weak. It's like, if that's the political calculus, then keep the government shut down. Okay? I mean, because again, and Crystal's made this point. I'm sure you agree with it. If you ask those No Kings people, yeah, there are going to be some signs about Obamacare. That's not what they're mad about, right? They're mad about ICE. They're mad about all this other stuff going on, right? So for them, they're like, screw you. Why should I fund you? You think these ICE agents aren't getting paid? Fine by me, right? For a lot of them, they're saying there's no reason to fund this government. Make their life a little bit more difficult. Force them to do stupid shit like, I don't know, firing an artillery shell that explodes over the city of Los Angeles. I mean, if I'm a Dem, I'm going to take that all day long, right? Yes, it's very painful for a lot of the for the federal workers, etc. But it's pawns have to be.
That's really who hurts the most, is these federal workers. Besides the people, it's those federal workers that are literally still going to work, not being paid. It's crazy.
Played in the field of battle.
The problem for Democrats is that Republicans only have to peel off a few, and they're good.
Okay.
So Democrats as a leadership can want whatever they want, but if Republicans can get a couple, I don't know. We'll see. But November 1st is, it's still a ways away.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see, Ryan.
So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section, guys. Make sure to subscribe to Breaking Points. The link is in the description down below with Crystal and Sagar and Ryan over here. So go check it out. Subscribe here. Let's see if we can get 1 subscriber with all notifications on and just 1 like on this video. And until next time, keep exploring that world, and we'll keep talking about it. Peace.